and welcome back to Stroup Mansion. I'm out in my garden today because it is probably the last beautiful fall day that we're gonna have this year, and that stinks. But it also really works out because I needed it. I went to the thrift store and there was just too many people, so I came home crabby. And I think a reoccurring theme here with my gardening videos that you will notice and that you will see in the future is that gardening is a huge part of my mental health. It really helps I guess regulate me, for a better word. It's grounding to me, it's relaxing. I feel at peace when I'm in my garden. So I thought what better time than today to get out here and do my fall cleanup and tell you a little bit about how I get my garden ready to go to sleep for the year. Oh, look, a little bee. I don't know what this is about. Anyway, let's get my garden ready for winter. First things first, I am not going to cut anything down. Well, that's a lie. I might cut some things down, but I do not take my garden to the ground because I don't think you need to. I am a part of a bunch of gardening groups on Facebook. I just am there to lurk. I don't ever contribute or anything. And I always see people asking, you know, when do I start cutting down my garden? When should I cut it down? And I am of the thought that you should not do that at all until spring, and even then you need to wait till the temperatures are, you know, warm enough, because first of all, I don't know why give yourself more work. You're gonna have garden cleanup in the spring anyway. And second, there are tons of little bugs and critters that need your garden for bedding materials, for somewhere to sleep, for things to munch on. Even right now, looking across the way from me is my marigolds, and they're covered in bees, so many bees. And they look like crap, and I would think that probably most people would say, okay, it's time to get rid of those now, but they're gonna stay there all winter because even though we've had even though we've had a snow, they're still a source of food. So there's no sense in doing that. What I will cut down is anything that is super tall and might damage the trellis that it is on. But that's it. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm going to put all of my garden statues in the garage because I did not realize that they are not supposed to be outside during the winter. Well, Jeff had told me last year that I should put them away, and I just kind of thought like, oh, no big deal. I don't know, they're supposed to be outside, but they're also not supposed to freeze and thaw and freeze and thaw. Luckily, nothing was damaged last year, and just some like paint chipping that I was able to paint and fix. But I have so many stupid little frog statues in my garden. I want them to be safe. So let's rescue all the froggies. Whoa! Don't worry, he survived. Really gross. I feel like I have more frogs, but I can't find them. There's all my froggies. So other things to put away for the season include wind chimes, I love wind chimes. Picking up these things. I just have to tell you that I did not ever think that I would be a garden statue and wind chime person, and I'm out here collecting frog statues and wondering how I can hang even more wind chimes. I just think, I don't know, I just love my garden. I made a couple of these small trellises back in the spring. They're just made from scrap wood, so I feel like it's probably safest just to put them away for the season. Something I started last year that I will be repeating this year because I had pretty good results is just going around and shaking any plants that have seeds in them and lazily spreading the seeds. Of course, I could gather these seeds and actually plant them, but honestly, I don't wanna. I don't feel like it. This is lazy girl gardening. This is survival of the fittest gardening. You know, like if it's a strong seed and it wants to do what it does, then it can do it. This is allium. It is one of my favorite favorite plants in my garden. They produce these purple flowers, and they're a type of onion, so they don't really smell, but like when you break them, you can smell them. So I did this last year and I spread the seeds. And then I kept getting these weeds like all around the plant. And I was just like, man, like these weeds are like persistent. I normally don't have that big of a problem with weeds in here. Like, you know, I get them from time to time, but like the amount that was around this was excessive. And as I was pulling them up, I realized these smell like onions. These are allium. So a bunch of it back here is doing really well. You can't see because it's just going to focus on me, but a bunch of it back there is doing really, really well. So I just want to continue shaking this, and hopefully in another couple years I will just have a buttload of allium. So I'll kind of rough it up a little bit. A little one that was growing underneath my frog. You can see the bulb here. It smells delicious. I want to eat it. It's just a little baby allium. These are hibiscus seeds. I have never had luck growing hibiscus from seed, but if they're here, I will purposely spread them. You see them in there? Oh look, one lone flower bud. Behind me here is my passion flower vine. I told you I don't cut anything down. That is a lie. I cut this down. Because I don't need that old growth, it will just grow completely new next year. This is kind of a trellis hazard. I don't take this trellis out of the ground, so I don't want the passion flower vine there for snow to rest on to maybe bend my trellis. So let's give this a haircut. Oh, it's windy. Did I just break that? It looks like you're missing a screw. Man, that vine is unruly. Oh my gosh. This is not even the entire plant, but what I'm going to do with it is I am going to lay it over some more fragile plants and use it as kind of like an insulation. That is another reason I like to not cut anything down for the winter, because the leaves and the plant itself will become good insulation for the roots, the important part that needs to survive the winter. So basically, I'm just using plants as mulch. Passion flower vine really did a number on this trellis. It's so, ooh. I really don't know how we lost a screw though. That seems so weird. This is actually kind of sad. Last year I didn't have a big like garden cleanup day. And I mean, this isn't a big garden cleanup day. Like this is literally taking me an hour and a half, 2 hours. I don't know, not long. But it just feels like, oh, winter's really coming. I am going to go take this load of stuff into the basement. I know I said the garage, but now I'm feeling really protective of my frogs. So I also need to grab burlap because we are going to wrap a tree. I'm not going to fit. So I just got all those frogs in the basement. Where are they? There. And I wanted to have a little giggle at future Kayla, who is absolutely going to poop her pants when the windmills chime. I mean, I hope they never chime, because that would either mean that they have fallen or that we have a ghost. But I feel like hanging them here in my basement is like the worst idea, but I'm still doing it. I'm videotaping myself doing it, but ghosts. So I'm back outside. I have my burlap and I have the world's biggest thing of, whoa. And I have the world's biggest thing of string. Last year, I didn't wrap these, or I did and they blew off or something. I can't remember which one it was. Either I didn't or I did and it went away. Either way, these looked so bad at the beginning of the year. I'm saying these, but you can only see one. The other one's on the other side. They looked so bad that I was considering digging them up and getting rid of them because I just thought they were donezo. They looked so bad. This year, it is high priority that I wrap them and protect them for winter because I just think they're so pretty. I don't do very many evergreens in my gardening because I prefer flowers, but I love the color of these, and I feel like it's such a needed pop of like yellow that we must save them. Well, this is not enough burlap. Okay, this feels good. It feels nice and secure on here. I'm gonna wrap that way a little bit more. But I also ran out of burlap, so that stinks. I will have to get more. Next, I think it's time to get rid of these, which I hate because they're brand new. I don't want to get rid of them. I'm also going to cut down this clematis because it is one that does not grow from the vine that is already here. This will start new every single year. And again, it is just a hazard. Can I just... Nope. Oh no, we broke a leg! I knew this thing was compromised. It's just rusted out. Bummer. Shoot. That stinks. Even though I just told you that spreading allium seeds is super easy and that I do it to all of the allium that I have, and I kind of have a lot, Home Depot had bulbs on clearance, so I'm not gonna not buy it. I have a blank spot over here in my garden that doesn't have anything, so I'm gonna throw some bulbs in there. I actually think this should be a little bit bigger. Go to sleep and good night. I like that I said it was a nice day outside and then immediately the sun went away and it got cold. I am very ready to be done. I'm gonna cut down this too. This arbor is new for the season, and I have another arbor that went up my first gardening year made from the same, like scrap wood. And it's doing fine, but it dies back before winter, so there are no leaves for snow to catch on. This passion flower vine, just like the other one that I already cut down, still kind of looks really awesome. So I'm just gonna cut it all the way back so that way it is not a arbor hazard. Also, wow, this thing is something. I'm so glad I came over to this arbor to cut this while filming, because I have not shown anybody this yet. So I have a compost bin and all of our food scraps go in it, obviously, and when I plant new things they get compost, and I'm not super careful about like what's in it or like making sure that it's finely ground, because I do kind of feel like if it's decaying material it's probably fine-ish. That is how I ended up growing an avocado tree outside on accident. I have stupid avocado pits in my window that have been there for like a year, and they're just so wimpy. And then there's this one that started outside on accident because I didn't notice it, and it's looking awesome. Do you see it? This is an avocado tree. Don't mind my crappy roses that a deer keeps eating, because look at this. So obviously that cannot survive in my zone, and I thought about digging it up, but I also kind of just want to see what will happen if I cover it really well. So I'm going to use all of that passion flower vine that I just cut down and just kind of basically super mulch it and see if it stays warm enough. I doubt that it will, but I also think it's worth a shot. Why not? Well, I guess that's a wrap on 2023 gardening. I feel sad, but I do feel good that the garden is ready to go to sleep. I'm excited to wake it up in a few months here, and hopefully we will have more flowers than ever. Thank you so much for joining me while I garden. Like I said, I just really hope that I can inspire somebody to start gardening. 3 years ago, I had no idea what I was doing, and now I have all of this, which is just ridiculous. See you next time. I didn't feel like I did too much here today, but I do feel like the garden is now ready to go to sleep. I've spread my seed. I've spread my seeds, and I put my froggies to bed, so